What's going on, everybody? Long time no see. Man, it's been a long time since I made a video. I got an 11-month-old kid and life has absolutely flown by. But anyway, behind me, I've got a new project. So this is a 1992 Chevy K2500. So it's a 3/4 ton OBS pickup with the 6.5 liter turbo diesel. And I got this thing for a good price, kind of bought it on a whim, but I've been needing a full-size truck. And this thing, for the most part, exterior-wise, is pretty clean. It's a 300,000 mile truck. It's been repainted at some point in its life, but it has virtually no rust on it. I was very, very happy when I looked underneath it and saw the chassis, all that stuff, you know, all the suspension components. It's a really solid truck. The interior, however, shows every bit of the 300,000+ miles that are on it. The carpet, the door panels, the seat, the headliner, pretty much all of that stuff is in desperate need of restoration. So that's one of the plans for the truck, is to kind of slowly go through and replace those things one by one, either replace or restore them depending on, you know, which part we're talking about. And then the other downfall of this truck is that it has been seriously neglected of maintenance for quite some time. So pretty much every old 6.5 turbo diesel, from my understanding, leaks oil. But this one, I mean, the valve covers leak, the CDR hasn't been replaced, so I'm pretty sure it's got some crankcase pressure that is not helping with the oil leaks any. So we're slowly going to work through those issues as well. But we're going to start with the front brakes. When I bought this truck, the front brakes were already metal to metal. At least one side was. So I've got all the stuff in the workshop to start getting started on this, and it's a little bit chilly, so we're gonna go start in there. Alright guys, so in front of us we have all of our stuff laid out. We have our front rotor. Obviously that is the main reason we're here, is for brakes. And I went ahead and I ordered new pairs of wheel hubs. These have the bearings and everything all pre-installed. We have a Lisle wheel stud installer, and we have a full set of 14mm brand new wheel studs to go in. And just in case we have issues with the old hubs coming off, I have enough hub bolts where I could replace every single one if I really wanted to, but we'll reuse the factory stuff if we can. Lastly, I've got some motor oil, and the motor oil, all we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit, first we're going to throw that. All we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of oil on the threads of the studs so that when we're using the lug nut to pull them up through the hub, we're not damaging the threads, and all we're doing is we're pulling them through and securing. Alright guys, so there we have it. First of the hubs is assembled. The Lisle install tool and an impact did a great job of getting all of the studs properly seated in there. Obviously, if you're using an impact, all you have to do is kind of wait for the tone to change. You can definitely tell when they're bottomed out. But the way that this Lisle tool works is pretty cool. It's got a bearing on the back side, and that part sits against the hub and free spins, and then obviously you just use your lug nut and you pull them on through with that. What this does is it allows the stud to slide up and the lug nut to spin completely freely, so you're not binding on those threads. So this thing is worth its weight in gold. It is part number 22800. but I will go ahead and I'm going to put all of the part numbers for this video in the description. So if you guys need any of those, you'll have them. Now, since I already got one of these all assembled, I'm not going to bore you with making you watch the second one. I'm going to get that thing knocked out, and then we're going to go start putting them on the truck. Now you guys can see what I mean. This thing has been metal to metal for quite a while, it looks like. So next step is going to be get the caliper off, get them hung, and then just try to remove the hub. Remember, kids, anything is a hammer if you try hard enough. There's bad, and then there's what this was. Now that the caliper's off, we got to get our front axle nut off. Mine is kind of a loose 36, but that should work with an impact. Last thing you're going to want to do is take off the 4 15mm, hiding behind here. Those hold the hub to the spindle. There we go. Damn, that thing is light. Something's telling me that was over tightened at some point in its life. Damn.
What you got set on 1?
3? Wow. Try a breaker bar, I guess.
Nah, I got that pipe at the house you can put on the end of it.
Of course.
Of course, man. I guess you're just stronger than a D-Wall, man.
I don't think so. I think they were lying to me. Big fat liars. Oh, man.
Did it move?
Yeah.
Yeah. There it went.
Damn. Some things are tight.
Thank you.
There it goes. There it is. Alright, so as you guys can see, I'm here on the left front side of the truck now instead of the right front that you saw me tear down. Just trying to figure out how everything came apart in racing, you know, December daylight. I didn't have enough time to film myself putting the other side back together, so we're going to use the left front here in order to do that. I did find, however, that this left front caliper is seized. And what that does is that explains why that right front was metal to metal. Apparently the left front must have been seized for quite some time, so this thing was, you know, only using one of the front calipers for, you know, God knows how many miles. So now that we found that, I went and I took a closer look at the brake line as well, and the hose is a little bit dry rotted. So we're going to go to the parts store, we're going to get a new left front caliper, and I'm probably going to get 2 new brake hoses for the front, so I'll pull the right side off and replace that one as well, just to make sure nothing springs a leak. But for now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this hub back on, and yeah, we'll go from there. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of grease and put it on the splines of the front axle so that hopefully this side slides on pretty easy. The other one, I fought it for a little bit, but with everything dry, it didn't really want to go. gonna go ahead, get the nut started so that this guy can't go anywhere. Bump this guy on a low setting. And then after that, I have to get the bolts lined back up. There's an opening in the back. You can kind of manipulate it a bit. That's one. And that's two. Let's go ahead and get these turned in a little bit just to get them started. Once the rear bolts are in, it'll help you line up the front ones. The rear ones were definitely easier to get in first, so I recommend going that way. And then I do have to replace one bolt on this side as well with one of my Dorman replacements. Unfortunately, the head rounded off on one of the factory bolts on this side, so I couldn't use it. With everything tight, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get all of our hub bolts torqued down to 133 foot-pounds. Okay, so there we have it. We got our new brake disc and hub assembly. Everything's looking good. The next thing that we'll do is we will take this bracket off for the brake line, disconnect it, and then hopefully get this caliper over to Advance and see if they have any replacements for us. One thing to note, we will end up torquing this guy down, but not until the wheel is back on and the tire is touching the ground, because it gets approximately 180 foot-pounds. So it's easier to do that one with the with some of the weight down on the tire. And with the magic of editing, we got a brand new brake caliper. So went to Advance, grab this Reman caliper. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get it loaded with the pads. We'll go ahead and bolt it on quick. And then power stop also includes grease for the back of the pads. Go ahead and get that nice little thin layer greased up. Do the same thing on the other one. Alright, now that we got our pads installed, we'll go ahead and put it on the truck. Usually snug is good enough for calipers, so I'm going to go to about 50-55 pounds. Alright my friends, this is where I'm going to leave you for the day. I am losing daylight as we speak. I went ahead, I got the caliper bolted up, torqued down, and I went ahead and replaced the banjo bolt and just kind of bolted that old brake line up for now. Next weekend, I'll go ahead, I'll replace both front brake lines and probably that right front caliper, just as a little bit of extra preventative maintenance. But the point of today's video was to show you guys what is involved in changing the front hubs and rotors on a OBS K2500. So we accomplished our goal for the day, and until next time, I am going to say goodbye because it's cold and I'm ready to go get food. So have a great night, and I'll see you guys again soon.